G'day, welcome one and all to another installment of Guvs Hero Review videos. This time we're going to take a look at another seasonal event hero. This time specifically we're going to have a look at Dapper Santa. So Dapper Santa is a seasonal event hero, so he does have a very limited summons availability window, appearing only once in a calendar year. Fortunately though, that portal is open for the entire calendar month of December each year, so while there's only one opportunity to summon for him, that opportunity is quite open. There's a wide window you can summon for him. Also, being part of the seasonal event stuff, you can use your Epic Hero tickets to attempt to summon for Santa and the other members of the Christmas portal. Dapper Santa is a 5-star red hero with the title of being the Naughty List Nullifier. Santa was only added during the 2022 Christmas portal. Before that, he was not part of the game, and it was only the 3 originals in Rudolph, Quilla, and Krampus. So Santa was added several iterations afterwards. His artwork, I'll have a quick switch over to that. So this artwork was provided to me by 2 people actually. It was given to me by TKD Devil and also by Scarpia, so thanks guys for passing this along. So Santa's artwork does pick up on a lot of those Santa tropes. So we've got that thick woolen red and white cloak, he's got a nice white bushy beard, he's got the Santa hat on, but he's also got a lot of those dapper stuff. So he's got a beautiful, lovely 3-piece Christmas suit, fantastic bow tie, he's got his Michael Jackson gloves on, and a shiny pair of shoes. And most importantly for Santa, he's got a bag with a gun in it. Just what you want Santa to be bringing for Christmas to your kids. Anyway, so that's his artwork. Thanks guys for passing that along. Pause the video if you wish to peruse it further. Heading back to his card, so Santa is as a member of the Christmas portal. He is part of the Jingle Bells family. This family bonus will create a minion for Santa each time he casts his special skill. That minion has 8% HP and 8% attack. So this isn't a great minion and it is only limited to himself. However, the minion will also gain an additional 2% health and 2% attack for each additional member of the family in the battle. So I haven't actually tested this, but that could actually apply to members on the opposing team. I don't know if it has to only be on your team, but either way, I don't particularly like this family bonus. It's quite limited in its effect, and the minion isn't actually very good. I think if it was more minions or a much better minion, it might be actually worth something, but as it is, I feel like it's probably the worst family bonus in the game. The only one that is definitely worse is the Vanilla Heroes and Hero of the Month family bonus, which just doesn't exist. So yeah, not a great family bonus. It's nothing against Santa, but it's just that family in general. I don't like it. His personal stats, so he has 748 attack, 692 defense, and 1390 HP. So there is a slight reduction in his defense stat and a slight inflation of his attack stat, which works because his skill, when we get to it, is predominantly damage related. So that's a good switcheroo of his stats there. Charge speed, Santa does have 61 charge speed, so that's fast and requires 9 tiles to charge. To get a speed break, you do need to get a +4 on his speed, which is actually easily achievable using either a 4-star or a 5-star speed, a red speed weapon. A double speed break would require +11 speed, which isn't possible with the weapons in the game at this stage, even factoring in the emblem node. Class-wise, Santa is a member of the Assault class, which grants him the chance to wound enemies equal to 60% of damage done by normal attacks. So normal attacks is damage from tiles and slash attacks. The best part about the Assault class is that the wound effect can actually stack infinitely with itself. So you can wound on 3 consecutive tiles and it doesn't overwrite the previous wounds, it just adds to it. So instead of it being 1, you get 3 times the amount. The other thing is it's actually calculated off the full tile damage, so color stacking improves the output further for wound damage. By way of an emblem path, I'm just going to pull up Brock because I do not actually own Santa. So Brock's an Assault member, red as well. So for Santa, I would follow this path. pretty much, I would go an attack and a probably HP if you were going to choose a secondary, but there aren't any instances where you're choosing between 2 attack routes. I have stopped my Brock at plus 18. The 19 and 20 nodes, they're just too many emblems for very, very little benefit. So for me, if you are going to emblem Santa, I would do this attack route here. Heading back over to Santa's, don't revenge him. Heading back over to his card in the portal, we'll start having a look at his special skill. So his special skill is titled Seasoned Greetings, past tense for whatever reason. But at level 10 and 61 speed, it will deal 200% damage to the target and nearby enemies, and will apply an ailment to the target and nearby enemies that will deal 300 damage and remove 30% charge after 3 turns. So breaking that down a little bit, so Santa does damage to 3 enemies, making him a DOA 3, damage over area, or an area of effect hero, to 3 enemies. There are a number of other options in red in this class. So we'll have a quick comparison of Santa to some of those. So to compare direct damage of heroes, I like to use a stat called the attack power per tile. So attack power is just their attack stat, 748, multiplied by the percentage in their special skill. So this time it is 200%. The attack power per tile is that attack power divided by the number of tiles it takes to charge. So what this does is it basically normalizes the damage output of heroes in a given scenario so that you can sort of compare them much more readily. So for Santa, he does come in at 748 attack, 200% damage, so that is an attack power of 1496 divided by the 9 tiles it takes to charge him, and that's an attack power per tile of 166. So there are a number of other red DOA 3 heroes or AoE 3 heroes. So probably the most common one you would have seen would be Bunraku on defense team. So Bunraku comes in with 1996 attack power or 222 attack power per tile. I'm quite sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but it's just what it is in my head, and it's very difficult to change that. So some other ones, Brock, we did just look at him. He's also 166, interestingly, so he has the same attack power per tile as Santa. Some other ones, you've got Thrasher. Thrasher is 142. Zidane is 126. Variant Zidane comes in at 183. And the best one at the moment is Magma at 225. So just a slight bit ahead of Bunraku, but he is much slower than most of the other options in this list. So yeah, some good ones, some bad ones, but by way of damage, Dapper Santa is pretty well in the middle of the road. He's, as I said, exactly the same as Brock, the 5-star Red Raiders hero, but he doesn't have necessarily the same secondary effects that the others in this group have. So we'll have a look at that now. So his secondary effect is that he applies an ailment which triggers after 3 turns. The damage itself from the ailment is pretty good. 300 damage is roughly equal to an additional 50% damage on top of his special skill, and the 30% charge cut is fantastic. I mean, I am always telling people about how awesome charge control is. So the real failing though is twofold. One, it's delayed by 3 turns. So it means that you fire his skill and you have to wait 3 more turns for anything actually to happen to get the rest of his damage and that charge cut. The other downfall for this is that it's entirely linked to the ailment. If you cleanse that ailment away, which you can do, there is no additional damage and there is no charge cutting either. The whole ailment is entirely negated. This is easily manipulated a little bit when you have the attacking power. So in attack, Santa can be used quite effectively around the predictability of the AI, but on the defense team, it is really, really easy to negate with literally any team cleanser. You can get rid of this. So, you know, you look at some of those other heroes on that list we were talking about. I mean, Bunraku does attack buff, crit damage, and speed boost. Zidane does passive healing and passive charge generation. You know, you've got Brock, who does a dispel and an attack buff to all allies, not just nearby people. So it's hard to sort of look at Santa, who has a 3-turn delay on a cleansable ailment, and not compare him to some of these other heroes in this list. He's still, not a bad hero, pretty good in the attacking situation where you've got full control over that ailment, but I don't hate waiting 3 turns for it, but if I could have the charge cut instantly, that would be so much better. So anyway, overall, Santa is probably an okay hero. As I said, his damage is decent, and more so when you factor in the delayed damage and that charge cut. The biggest downside though is that the ailment, which has the charge cut, can be cleansed away. So I'd probably promote a lot of the other AoE 3 red options before Santa, just because of the nature of that ailment, that it is cleansable. But it's not that he's bad, it's just that some of the others are probably a bit better. So overall for his grading, I'm actually going to be fairly favourable to Santa, so I'm going to give him a B- on attack for War and Raid, just because it is a lot easier to control the game with him in attack. The AI is very predictable. For War Machines and Events though, down to a C+, he doesn't really do too much for those situations. And for Raid and War Defense, I'm only going to give him a C-, and that's because it is very, very easy to manipulate the AI and to just ignore half of his effect. For tournaments, a B- and a C- for Bloody Battle, a B- and a C- also for Buff Booster Tournament, and a B- and a C- for Charged Attack Tournament. So that's for attack and defense respectively. So on all of the tournaments, a B- for attack and a C- for defense. So overall, having a look at all of those things together, that comes out at about a C+ for an attack and a C- for defense as his overall grade. So that concludes the content that I have for this review of Dapper Santa. As always, this is just my personal opinion. I do love hearing your thoughts and feedback on these videos and these heroes, so please do drop down into the comments section of the video and write me what your thoughts are. I do love reading it, and I always try to respond to as many comments as I can. If you found this video to be good, useful, and enjoyable, whatever, like it, subscribe to the channel for more of this sort of content, but most importantly, share the video around, because chances are, if you found the video to be useful for yourself, it's also going to be really useful for your ally mates and other people that you play with. So yeah, that's all I've got. Thanks for joining me for this review of Santa. Good luck with your summons and your wars and everything else, and happy gaming. Cheers. Bye.